So in video 2 about segmentation, we're going to talk about 4 other different kinds of segmentation that are a little bit different than the classics: geographic, demographic, and psychographic. So first we're going to look at behavioralistic segmentation. So this is one that's not in your book. It's a little bit different. And this talks about the behaviors that we take in order to purchase a product. So this talks about what channel we're purchasing through, what our loyalty looks like, some of our media habits, where are we frequenting, that we're actually getting the information that we need, that we're able to purchase a certain item. So you could say that behavioralistic fits into usage, which is our next segmentation category, but I would actually separate them out because this is our behaviors towards purchase. So this is our behaviors not necessarily just towards the brand itself, but what leads us into brand purchase behavior. So the next kind is usage segmentation, and this is how we use the product itself, which again could be called very similar to the benefit segmentation, which is our next segmentation, but again we're differentiating them to show kind of the unique characteristics within each segmentation category. So for usage, what we're looking at is when a person is using a product, how are they using it? So why are they buying it in the first place? Purpose and purchase occasion go hand in hand. So are we doing this because we're traveling on business? Are we going for a special occasion, which is the purchase occasion, such as a birthday or an anniversary? Is our purpose just to get a meal out because we're dining out, or is this for something unique? So purpose and purchase occasion are going to create different segments of the market. So someone who is just a frequent diner out, okay, someone who goes out all the time to eat, their purpose is simply eating, versus someone who only comes on special occasions. Each of those segments can be very crucial and important, but you would definitely market to them in a very unique and different way. Next, we have frequency. How often are they coming? Do they come all the time, or do they come just on that special occasion? If they're coming frequently, are they coming once a week, twice a week, every day? Are they coming once a month? Is that considered frequent? It just depends on what you're looking for. When I managed for my hotel, we had some people who stayed with us for 6 months of the year, not at any one given time. They would come every week and leave every weekend, and they were staying for a good 180 days a year. So that's a very, very frequent, but we also had guests that came about once a month. We would also consider that frequent. So we would have different levels of frequency. But part of that's also going to be the monetary value. So if you are, say, a casino or an integrated resort and you have many different money centers, areas to earn revenue, is the monetary value of that guest who's just staying in a hotel room high, or is it low? So how much are they spending? So if you're a casino and someone only spends on that nickel slot, spends $100 a weekend, but comes once a month, they're high in frequency, but their monetary value is relatively low. Compare that to someone who comes once every 2 years but spends $1 million in gambling. They would be really high in monetary value and low in frequency. And so we would usually use those together, and we use those in conjunction with recency. So that means how long was it since their last visit? How often are they coming, and how much time is in between those stays? And so this is called the RFM. I believe that's the order they put it in. I could be completely wrong. Yep, RFM. So the recency, frequency, and monetary value, and you would give them scores, and then based on these scores, you would determine how valuable that guest was, and you could create unique groups of people. I would argue that you would do this for any segment that you had and any individual, and this is when you're starting to get into CRM, the customer relationship management techniques, and that this starts to look at very specified groups of people that can be really good once you already have your target segment and then targeting within that target segment. Usage segmentation is valuable, but it's much harder to follow through with because people change and their behaviors change and what they're doing changes. So again, take it for what it is, take it with a grain of salt. The other is timing. When do they come? So do they come when you're busiest? So if we have someone coming to Disney World, are they coming during Christmas vacation and Thanksgiving and the summer holidays when it's the busiest, or are they coming in off seasons? So there might be some different techniques there to try to move people to slower times, or to segment those slower time people to get special value deals in order to entice them to come. So in your restaurant, if you're really busy on Friday and Saturday night and this guest only comes on Friday and Saturday night, they might not have as much value for you as someone who comes during your slow Monday morning period. Okay, why are they purchasing? Kind of the nature of that purchase. Is it for themselves, for others? Kind of what's the value they're getting out of it? Goes hand in hand with everything else we're talking about. Where they go when they do this, and then heavy, medium, and light users. So is it someone who is, when they are using you a whole lot? So if I'm a new mom and I have a baby and I need to buy diapers, I'm probably a very heavy user, versus medium or light user, someone who just uses on occasion or is infrequent. But again, looking at heavy, medium, light users, you're starting to go back to frequency and recency. So not knocking that use of segmentation is valuable. It might not be the most valuable segmentation technique. So benefit segmentation is, what is someone getting out of it? So this is actually a complete 180 from geographic, demographic, and psychographic. These kind of characteristics are looking at the customer themselves and then creating products to meet those customers. Benefit segmentation says, let's look at the product itself, and based on the value of the product, customers will come to us. So customers will choose a product based on the benefit they're getting, rather than us choosing customers and providing benefits for them. So this is basically flipping it on its head and saying, let's focus on the product rather than focusing on the customer in order to segment the market. So in this, we're looking at what they're trying to get out of the product itself. So if we're a luxury hotel, and we're talking about that romance picture we saw with Ritz-Carlton, maybe they're trying to get romance. That is the benefit they're trying to get out of it. And so we would make something together for romance, and then people who want that will come to us, rather than us saying, oh, our customers want romance, let's give it to them. So some of those benefits can be comfort, prestige, the price recognition, attention, romance, quiet, safety, the list goes on. So these are just ones from your book. There are so many more benefits you could look at. The benefit could be low cost, but very quick. Okay, it could be, we want a lot of variety and cachet. So whatever it is you're looking for, maybe it's authenticity. We want, if we go to a massage parlor and it's supposed to be an Asian massage parlor, we want authenticity of the kind of equipment that's used for our different massage techniques, whatever the case may be. Now, part of the benefit segmentation you'll see here is low price. So in the book, they also give you price segmentation. I would argue that this is not a specific segmentation. Again, I think this falls in line with characteristics of groups that are already being used, or it falls in line with the benefits. I wouldn't call it its own segmentation technique. However, in the book they do, so we are going to talk about it. So price segmentation simply states that someone will choose or not choose your product based on the price category. So this could be difference between product class or within product class itself. So if you're talking about the bigger product class, remember we talked about having luxury versus full service, limited service, budget economy, all suites hotels, right? You start to see these different product classes, and within those product classes we have different expectations of what the price within that product class is going to be. So if I know I'm going on vacation and I want to spend a certain amount of money, I would budget myself, I want to spend between $150 and $250 a night, which puts me in between the limited service and the full service hotels, and that's going to determine where I'm going to fall into the structure of segmentation. But again, if you do it that way, you're looking at really, really expansive groups of people with very different needs. So if I want to spend $150 a night and I'm going with my family to travel versus $150 a night to do convention travel, those are very different groups of people, even though they both want the $150. So now the argument would be that even though we're very different, we have the same needs when it comes to hotel and the benefits we're trying to get out of a hotel, and therefore that's why we're in the same segment. Different arguments. The research is, kind of across the board, different opinions about whether this is a valuable segmentation technique or not. Just depends on which research you read. Okay, and then you can also have price segmentation within product class. That means comparing the days into the quality and saying, well, what's the price differentiation? Well, part of the difficulty with that is that there's a commodity status, that those products really aren't that different, so it's hard to segment. And so you start to bring in other things like loyalty, which we've talked about in other segmentation strategies, and that in general, a $10 variation in price won't really change behavior when it comes to hotels. Similarly to restaurant, a $2 change in price of meal will not change where someone's choosing to go to a restaurant because there's so many other factors in play. So price segmentation alone is probably not the strongest segmentation, although like I said, with all the other techniques, you would usually use this in conjunction with other segmentation strategies. So the point is to create groups of people. And however you create those groups of people or how you divide them is kind of up to you. These are just some of the possible strategies you can use to segment the market.